Hello and welcome along once again to It'll Be Alright in the 90s, the podcast that's been busy circling everything it wants for Christmas in the 1994 catalogues, ready to show its mum. I'm Stu Joslin and I come with a 16-day money-back guarantee, and joining me as always is Alex, free accidental damage cover Greenwood. Greenie, how you doing tonight, mate?
Good, thanks. I'm good. You will need that accident cover, just be warned. It could come in useful. Although I'm not a clumsy person. You know, I don't want to do myself a disservice. I'm quite careful.
Well, I should probably mention at this point that at the end of year episode, the Christmas episode, I'm planning to put you into some poorly made stocks and throw some rotten vegetables at you before and pulling your trousers down as well. So maybe we do need that accident damage cover. I think.
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah.
Clearly, you've not been watching that video as the BBC health and safety video as everyone should.
Well, I mean, it hasn't filtered down into the unregulated world of the podcast. I mean, we can still do what we want with regards to props.
That's true, yeah.
So I'm having them made up, and then they're going to be delivered to your house, and then we'll put you in them at the end of the year and see how we go. But yeah, fingers crossed.
Podcasting, you're right. Podcasting very much is the Wild West of broadcasting still, and that's why we do it. That's why we're a couple of Billy the Kids over here doing our thing. So
that's right. If you're not living on the edge, you're taking too much room, right?
Yeah, exactly. I've got a 90s update. I should say I've got a 90s update following on from an episode or two ago where I said that I'd failed to get tickets for Blink 182. I'm currently extending my search to Europe-wide now. So I'm on the verge of buying tickets for the Lisbon show. Just I know a lot of people will be on tenterhooks wondering whether I'm going to get tickets for Blink, but that's where I'm up to now.
Excellent news. Well, please do keep us informed on that. But have you signed this off with Jeff? Because if you're going to be away on a day when we should be recording, there could be problems. We might have to see if your brother's available.
That's true, yes. Maybe I should ask Jeff. This is not until September 2023, though, so chances are it'll all have gone. We'll have instigated some sort of legal action that have put the pod off air by then. So.
Well, other than that, we won't be able to go because you've had a stocks accident anyway, a stocks related accident, and that'll be it. So we're covered either way, aren't we? But no, very very best of luck, mate. I hope you do come through with that. Absolutely.
Oh, thank you.
Actually, our sponsor might be able to help you out with your travel arrangements for your trip next year. Our sponsor this time is the Yellow Pages.
Nice.
This is a very very exciting deal. You can simply quote the code ALLRIGHT90s when booking any trade service through the Yellow Pages for the Tri-County area. Let's not forget that's Avon, Somerset and Wiltshire, and you can receive 5% off the list price for that service. That's Yellow Pages. Let your fingers do the walking.
Very nice. I will be using that, because flights to the continent are not cheap.
Yeah, there might be some local independent travel agent in there that can help you. Just get the big yellow book out, have a look through, see what we can do. That's another thing that the internet killed off, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. That and the other phone book, the White's phone book.
Mm-hmm.
They always used to have a bit of fun when I was at my most bored of just looking for my friends in the normal phone book. I don't know why, but
the phrase "that's another thing the internet killed off" has become a bit of a trope on this podcast. I think I've used it quite a lot in recent episodes. It's probably, I have to say, a bit better for the environment as well, that not everybody has a 1,000-page book in their house. Every household has one. But for a long time, the Yellow Pages was a bastion of the British household, wasn't it?
Absolutely, yeah. I was just going to say, it used to just get dropped off, didn't it, every 6 months or so? Yeah,
it'd be there on the doorstep. I don't know if you remember this. We still get it round here in Wiltshire, the Denton's Directory.
I remember the name, yeah. Is it basically the same thing, but small?
Yes, it's a lot slimmer volume, and it's just related to your immediate local area. So we get the one for Chippenham. But yeah, and obviously some surrounding areas. But yeah, we still get that through the door every 6 months. So a little throwback to the era of having all of your important numbers delivered in catalogue format. Which still survives today, which is very nice indeed.
Yeah, the Yellow Pages did gradually shrink, didn't it? Because there was a time when it was absolutely massive. It was like a good 4 inches thick, and then it gradually got smaller and smaller. It was a very visual decline for that particular institution.
I'm sure it was a feature of like strongman competitions in the late 80s, early 90s. Was the tearing of the Yellow Pages or the phone book, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, I've been watching UK Strongest Man this year recently, and all they do is flip tires and drag barrels around. There's no catalogue tearing of any sort.
Well, you could probably show Yellow Pages to a lot of those guys, and they'd probably break down in nostalgic tears as they remember the good old days.
I don't know. One of the competitors on the last heat I watched was 19 years old.
Okay, maybe not.
But,
probably never heard of the Yellow Pages.
I don't think so. No, they probably haven't even heard of Yell.com. I mean,
no. What's a website?
Time for a very quick dip into the post bag. This is actually something that was submitted in time for our quiz and game show episode last time out, but it got lost in the sheaf of notes that I had on the night, and I forgot to read it out. It comes from wife of the pod, Beth. So obviously my apologies have already been given on that front. She wanted to nominate Blind Date as her game show of the 90s, which is one that we didn't discuss actually. But she says her mum wouldn't have it on the TV in the lounge because she thought it was trash. So Beth had to watch it on the black and white TV in her bedroom. And she says she spent many happy hours watching other staples of 90s programming like SMTV, Live and Kicking, etc. in glorious monochrome. So there we go, a black and white TV in the bedroom. My grandparents had a black and white TV in their kitchen, which actually had a dial to tune in the channels.
Oh, nice.
It was Hitachi. I remember this because I inherited it, and it then went into my parents used to have a sort of shed stroke summer house thing, and it went out in there, and I hooked up the old Mega Drive to it, and I used to go out there and play the old console games in black and white. So it lived on. But yeah, the black and white TV.
Yeah, I wonder when the last black and white TV was sold. It's probably one of those things that was surprisingly recent, like 2014 or something, but there can't be many about now.
I think this was one of those questions that came up on the best quiz show on TV now, Richard Osman's House of Games. Yes. How many black and white only television
yes, it was. Yeah, you're right.
I think you can still buy them because it's cheaper to do so, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, and there were, I think it was in the hundreds, I think. But I think that there still are. Yeah, there still are some black and white devotees out there.
Yeah, because weren't there separate TV licenses for colour and black and white or something like that? Maybe I've imagined that.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, this is maybe going back even pre-90s here, but.
But then, if like my grandparents, you were a dual house, you had colour in the front room and black and white in the kitchen. Did you have to have a separate license for both of those, or were you covered by a colour license? Please get in touch if you know. We'd be very interested to hear.
Yeah, it's a good question. But back to Blind Date, it's a brilliant choice, and thanks to Beth for bringing it up, because it is one of the sort of stalwarts of 90s game show programming for sure. So it was a rare example of an ITV program that we used to watch in our household. So it must have been doing something right. I think it was just great.
It really was. I mean, I can't think of anything else like it. I remember a short-lived. Again, I'll have to refer to the UK Game Show's website for this fantastic resource if you've not visited it already. I'm fairly sure that Chris Tarrant did a thing, and it might have been called something like Man Oh Man. It was the ladies who were picking from the men. But I think Blind Date really was like certainly the only well-received dating show. Take Me Out is probably the is that even on anymore? I mean,
I think even that's finished.
That seems modern to me, but that was like 10 years ago, wasn't it?
Something like that, yeah. That was definitely the spiritual successor to Blind Date. But Blind Date did change, the genders did switch up. It wasn't always a guy picking the ladies or a lady picking the guys.
Okay, right.
I think it was anyway. You make me doubt it now, but
I don't know.
I think the voiceover guy. Oh, what was his name? He died a couple of weeks ago, didn't he?
Graham Skidmore.
Graham, that's it. Graham, yeah.
Yes. Yeah, he also did the voiceover for Shooting Stars, another one that we spoke about. Oh. Yeah. Nice. So I'm sorry there if I got the balance wrong there when I was discussing about Blind Date. I didn't look into that and I don't remember. So I
don't remember so you didn't watch it then when you were.
Not really, no. It sort of passed me by really. I think I was more into Noel's House Party on the other side at the same time, same sort of time really. So.
That explains why we were watching it in our household. A rare example of watching ITV in our household is because Noel's House Party was on the other side.
So that was a choice. It was the lesser of two evils, is what we're saying.
Yeah.
Right.
I have a quick correction to make from something I said in our Halloween episode, specifically the Halloween episode that was on the Most Millennial podcast feed. This was their half, which we heartily recommend you go and listen to if you haven't already. Go over and check their feed for that one. And I said in there that Wes Craven made his own music in his films, and I of course meant John Carpenter, not Wes Craven. That was an embarrassing mistake that was pointed out by brother of the pod, Adam, who rightly picked me up on that, and I just wanted to correct that.
We're nothing if not fastidious about these matters. Speaking of brother of the pod, Adam, and this must be I think this is his third mention, and we've only been going about 5 minutes, so this must be a record. Something strange happened to his speaker while he was listening to the Halloween episode. Is this correct? We've had some correspondence in on this subject. Yes, so brother of the pod, Adam, tweeted us to say, weirdly, your Halloween episodes gave my Bluetooth speaker a funny turn. It was fine for about 3 minutes, then there was what sounded like a scream and it went completely dead. I plugged it in to charge and it seemed fine again until I played the second part of the collaboration. Same thing again, played for 3-ish minutes, a scream and then silence and a dead speaker. That's never happened before and it's worked perfectly since then. So maybe there was something appropriately spooky happening with the Halloween team-up episodes. Please can you tell me how many days do I have left before the curse gets me? I think it's been 7 days since it happened. Do I need to get someone new to listen to the pod before Stu crawls through my TV and gets me? I don't get that last one. That must be a reference to...
I think that's a reference to The Ring.
Okay, right. Okay. But that explains why I haven't got it.
Yes, you will have to get one more person to listen to it, Adam, and then that person will have to get 2 people to listen to it. Then that person will have to get 3 people, and so on until we are the most listened to podcast in the world, at which point the curse will be lifted. So off you go.
Until then, Locomotive will not win any games, so we better get that sorted out quick sharp, I say.
Time now for our regular feature, What's the Most 90s? And I have one here for you, Stu, which I think might be a good one for you, knowing your previous career roles. What would you say is the most 90s personal computer brand?
Oh, well, I mean, this stirs so much nostalgia in me. And I have to go for the brand that my first ever PC was. This was in 1999, and my parents invested in a Time computer from Powerhouse in Chippenham, up there on the Hathaway Retail Park. I have a strong recollection of this computer overall costing them over £1,000. And when you think about what you would buy a regular sort of computer for today, that's obviously a lot of money. It had an 8 gigabyte hard drive and 32 megabytes of RAM. So obviously very, very powerful. It came with a printer and a scanner as well. So we had the whole, we had separate printer, separate scanner. So we had the whole kit there. My dad decided not to skimp on it. And most importantly for me, it came with like a box set of 4 different games. And we had FIFA 98, Road to the World Cup, with the indoor mode, one of the best ones. Theme Hospital, again, another classic. Yeah. PGA Tour Pro and Need for Speed 2. So you had all the gaming corners really covered there: football, golf, driving, and hospital maintenance. I mean, I love this computer. I was obsessed with it. Windows 98 Special Edition. It gave me the beginning of my obsession with Championship Manager 0102 as well, which is a game that I still play today. I've just taken over at Wigan Athletic after a successful spell at Arbroath, if anyone's interested. Well, one thing to note is that we didn't then get the internet until about 2002 or 3. So we had an offline computer for about 2 or 3 years, and then it just became impossible to do like any schoolwork or homework without an internet connection by that time. So it had to come in. But yeah, very, very fond memories. Obviously, looking at the specs now, it's pretty pathetic. But for about 6 years, that computer did us just fine at Casa del Joslin. So yeah, Time computers for me, and also of course, lest we forget, Blackburn Rovers shirt sponsor as well.
Of course. I was trying to remember who had them as a sponsor. Yeah, I'm just picturing all the like if I could see your street back in '99 at night, like when you turned your computer on, all the lights like dimming in all the houses around you because it was so powerful.
Massive monitor, one of those big deep monitors as well. You can only go on the internet after 6 o'clock. you know. And even then, my mum wanted to phone my aunt, and then I had to come off the internet. And great
Yeah.
times. We're getting close here to just mindless nostalgia, but yeah.
What do you mean we're getting close to it? We've been doing it for over a year.
Well, no, but I mean, what I want to do with this podcast is not ever go down the line of, do you remember when you had to go on the internet after 6 o'clock because it was cheaper?
Yeah.
I don't want to do that. You know, I want to talk about specificity of the things that we experience. So I try not to stray too far into that if I can.
I was just about to say, do you remember how with those big monitors you'd have to have your desk deep enough or far enough away from the wall that you could have that with enough space behind it? Because if I had that now on my desk, it would be reaching from the back of the desk to the front of the desk. I don't know how we really coped with that.
Oh yeah. I'm fairly sure somewhere at my parents' house there's like an old photograph of my dad actually using this computer. So next time I'm around there, I'll see if I can dig it out, and then we'll put it on the Insta. Yeah, no problem.
Please do.
Yeah, leave that with me.
I struggle to think of any one brand in particular. My dad did get hold of PCs relatively early. He's always been quite into technology and PCs and things like that. So I definitely remember us having them in the house probably from the mid-90s onwards. Definitely, you know, when I was in primary school, so it would have been 94, 95. I remember playing Wolfenstein on one of them. But I can't remember what any of them were, like what brands they were. So I was thinking, well, do I go Acorn? Because I remember there being Acorn PCs at primary school, at Regis School. But then Acorn, I think, goes back to like the 60s or 70s, so I couldn't pick that. And then I was thinking about Gateway 2000. I don't know if you ever really heard of them. I only know them because they bought Amiga, the brand Amiga. So from then on, it was always like, that's the brand that bought Amiga, who, you know, we were an Amiga family. But I've basically just gone for any PC brand that appeared on a football shirt throughout the 90s. So I've got 3 here. I've got 4 actually. Can you name the 4 that I've thought of, not including time? Well, I have 4 others.
I've just realised I've overlooked a big one here in AST Computers, which was obviously Aston Villa's main shirt sponsor.
Yeah, I'd forgotten them actually.
Yeah, so I have overlooked them. So apologies to the guys at AST. A future sponsor, no doubt. Actually, we better get in touch with them. Let me see now. Packard Bell.
No, I forgot about them.
No, okay.
Oh, did they sponsor Tottenham?
That was Leeds.
Oh yeah,
that was right towards the end of the decade. Hewlett Packard. That was
I've got them.
Yeah. Well, Commodore definitely, and Amiga for Chelsea.
I didn't count them because I thought they were a bit more of a console, but yeah, you're right.
Right, hang on. So how many have I gone through? You said you've got 4, and I've just reeled off a load that you
I'm
haven't
not saying
got.
The list I've got is only the ones I can think of. I'm not saying it's conclusive, but you've gone through a lot more that I didn't have. All you've got so far is Hewlett Packard.
Right, okay, hang on. There must be. Are you counting Sharp?
No, I'm not counting Sharp.
Right, and you wouldn't count JVC didn't make computers. Right, hang on. Just give me a second here. I can do this. LNX for Wimbledon.
Yes.
Right, okay. Right, LNX for Wimbledon. Okay, right.
Well, I've got another one for Wimbledon, which is Tiny. I think
yes, of course.
Wimbledon and maybe someone else as well.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And my favourite is probably Compaq, who sponsored QPR. So all of them, basically, they're my most 90s PC brands. I know that's covering most of them. Is therefore not maybe in the spirit of the feature, but that's all I could think of really. So
apologies to our friend Rob from Premiership Years there if you're listening in. I've just completely flunked that test. I do apologise.
Yeah. He's going to be furious.
So all things considered then, are we going to put time in the ledger?
Yeah, time definitely. I think you've argued your side far better, more concisely than I have, so get him in the ledger.
I mean, I kind of wish I'd gone for AST now, but then I never owned or even touched an AST computer. I don't think so.
Yeah, leading into 2000s a bit there as well. So
time it is then.
Time it is.
Christmas is coming, folks, and what better way to get into the seasonal spirit 90s style by leafing through some classic Argos catalogues from the decade. We've each chosen a catalogue. I've gone for the Argos Superstore Winter 1994 edition. Alex, which one have you got there?
I've gone for the Superstore Winter and Autumn 1995 catalogue. So about a year. We're a year apart.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's plenty to get stuck into here. If you want to have a look at these for yourself, there's a fantastic website called Retro Mash, which has got a lot of these old catalogues archived from the 80s and 90s. You can go and have a look through and let us know what you would have put your biro ring around. Before we get stuck into it, though, Alex, what are your sort of general memories of Argos in the 90s? Did you get any big childhood purchases from there, for instance?
I don't think I have any family history with Argos at all, which is quite surprising, I think. I never really remember going in there myself. The thing is, my parents might have gone in there, for all I know, to get certain things or to get stuff for Christmas that me and my brother wouldn't have known about. But I never went in there. It was always just a different sort of thing that other people did. I don't really know why that was. It was all quite alien to me. I couldn't work it out. Like, you go into a shop, there's nothing in the shop, just catalogues. It was confusing. So I don't think I really have any major history with it.
Okay, well, I'm pretty much on the opposite end of the scale. It always loomed large on a family shopping trip to Chippenham, and to actually be able to go in there and know that you were planning to get something was huge. And there are a couple of big purchases in my life which came from Argos. I mean, the first one we discussed a few episodes back was the CD Walkman car kit, which didn't go to plan, but we've already discussed that. I actually got my first electric guitar from the Argos Superstore in Swindon.
Nice.
It was a Yamaha. It cost £170. It's still hanging around somewhere. I think it might be in my parents' garage. It came with an amplifier as well, so I had all the kit ready to go. And yeah, I'll always cherish that memory. But we've had the story about my ongoing bad luck with Argos as well, in terms of picking something out of the catalogue to spend some birthday money on, and then it never being in stock or unavailable for other reasons. So yeah, it's a bit of a bittersweet thing, because half of the time I couldn't get hold of what I wanted, but there was always a frisson of excitement because it was just different. As you say, there was nothing actually in the shop. You got to go and fill out your little form and then take it to the desk and then be told which lane to get in to pick it up. It would come down on a conveyor belt from the warehouse at the top.
Nice.
I mean, yeah, pretty thrilling for someone of my age. But as we say, we've gone back. We've selected 2 classic catalogues from the 90s era, and we've picked out a few of our favourite bits and pieces from these catalogues that we're gonna talk about tonight, haven't we?
We have, yes.
Yeah.
At this point, I think it's really important that we give a shout out here to one of our listeners, Mark from Glasgow, who has
absolutely, yeah,
very, very kindly sent us in a few things through the post, including a Argos catalogue from 1995. So that has partly inspired this episode. And yeah, Mark, if you're listening, we cannot thank you enough for this. And yeah, really, really kind. You are the first person to ever send us in something through the post, I believe. Is that right, Stu?
Yeah, I think so, and that's very generous of you, Mark. Thank you so much for contributing to the pod in that way. It goes without saying that if anybody else finds anything that they can post us that they think we'll find interesting, get in touch with us through the usual channels, and we'll let you know where to send it. But yeah, Mark, you are the first to do that, and yeah, we can't thank you enough.
Yeah, I think that it calls for a new position in the ledger, maybe official postmeister, something like that.
Yeah, okay, that sounds good. Yeah.
Mark
Brilliant.
from Glasgow, you are the official postmeister of the pod, so
Superb.
a position set in the ledger, so well deserved.
Yeah, we'll have a chat with Jeff afterwards. Right then, I will go with something from the 1994 catalogue to start off with. This is a bit confusing because obviously we have the page numbers of the actual catalogue and then the page numbers of the viewer that the catalogue has been sort of ported into on the website. So I'm going to go with the catalogue page numbers myself, and I'm going to go with page 92. And we're in amongst the Seconda gents and ladies watches here. But it's not so much any of the watches on this page that caught my eye, but it was a little inset box. And I'll read you what it says. Spend $19.99 or more on a Seconda watch and receive a buy one, get one free offer at Country Grill and Country Carvery restaurants, plus a chance to win a Peugeot 106.
That's a great offer, isn't it?
There's a little picture there of a red Peugeot 106 with black trim.
Yeah.
There's no further indication there on how to actually enter the competition, or if it's just an automatic thing. But I can't help but wonder who won the Seconda / Argos Peugeot 106. Are you out there? Let us know.
Yeah, there's a 106 just like that around the corner from me, and that could be the person. That could be the winner. So
wow. Okay, well,
start knocking on doors.
Yeah, might be worth a knock on the door, definitely.
Do you have a Seconda watch? Or 2, actually.
Yeah, that's true. Moving on to page 97 and sticking with watches, I just wanted to talk about the Casio Gent LCD blood pressure monitor watch. This comes with an AM, PM, and year display, a 24-hour stopwatch to a 100th of a second, a 24-hour countdown alarm to 100th of a second, the aforementioned blood pressure monitor, data recall, graph display, bio flashback function, whatever that is, target data function, backlight, water resistant to 50 meters, and now it gets interesting. 2 instruction booklets and an audio cassette for a watch.
What's in the audio cassette?
So now, not only do you need to buy, you're going to go and buy a watch at Argos, you also now need to buy a cassette player in order to listen to the instructional cassette. And then just a little note here, it is recommended you obtain accurate blood pressure readings from a qualified medical practitioner before programming this watch with your personal data. So Argos really covering themselves there.
You imagine going to a GP now and trying to make an appointment and saying, it's because I bought a new watch and I need to check what my blood pressure is for that. They'd kick you out. They'd say, do you know how busy we are? How long our waiting lists are?
There you go, a sign of the times. That's a snip at just $69.95, by the way.
You can't put a price on health, can you?
Exactly. What price? What price? Good health. So what do you have over there in the 95 edition?
So yeah, autumn winter 95. First thing I want to comment on is the front cover of this catalogue. It depicts an extremely 90s living room scene. So the wallpaper is quite dark, the furnishings are quite dark, the wood furniture is quite dark, and there's a lovely carriage clock on the mantelpiece there. It's painfully 90s. It just really drives home how much interior design has changed in the previous 2 decades. But it's a lovely scene.
Not for the better, if you ask me.
No, that's another thing the internet killed off. Oh no, you know what? It doesn't fit in there, does it? Can't use that.
No, the internet didn't kill home decor.
No,
we can say what you like about it, but it didn't do that.
Yeah, you're right. That would be unfair. So on page 97 in the catalogue, I'm also on watches as well, actually, because there's so many pages on watches here. On page 97 there's a red learning watch. I don't know if you had one of these. I had almost this exact one, which I probably would have picked up from a car boot or something. But it's the one with half of it's in red and half of it's in blue, so it would teach you how to read, quarter past, quarter to. I just think that's a very 90s. Well, actually, I don't think it is 90s. It probably still exists, doesn't it? It's just we got it in the 90s because we were that age. But yeah, it was my first watch, so I had to pick that out. And then on the opposite page, 98, there's a Gladiators watch, which seemed very familiar when I first saw that. I don't know about you. I think someone in my class must have had that. But then moving on properly, I'm also going to the Casio page because I want to point out 2 iconic 90s watches, which you'll probably be able to guess, Stu and listeners. One, of course, is the calculator watch that everyone in primary school had. Or not everyone had. Like a handful of people had, and then they would brag about the fact they would never need to worry about a times table test ever again or a maths test because they could just do it on their watch. And then, I don't know if that ever worked. It's so tiny. I don't know how people ever did any sums on it, but it was iconic. I don't know if, they're defunct now, aren't they, with the advent of the mobile phone. And then there's another one here, which is the TV remote Casio watch, which is another school institution. But I think this is a bit more of an urban legend, a school urban legend that someone would, maybe we've talked about this on the pod before, but people would, when the teacher would wheel in the TV to show some educational video or Badger Girl or something like that on the TV, some kid at the back would have this watch and they'd be craftily changing the channel and confusing the teacher. Whether that ever actually happened, I don't know, but it was something that was always talked about. So on page 100 of this catalogue, you can buy yourself one of those watches and try it out at home. I would be highly surprised if they work with today's TVs, or probably the TVs back in the day, actually. I bet they didn't even work with that. But I thought 2 iconic 90s watches right there on page 100 of this catalogue. So worth a stop there.
Fantastic. Well, we're buying a lot of watches at the moment, aren't we?
Yeah. I mean, like I said, there's so many pages in this catalogue devoted to watches. What about you then? Let's go back to you. What's the next thing you found?
Okay, well, I've got my watch, so now I want to go into the kitchen. And I'm on page 304, and I've got 3 words for you. Breville Pie Magic.
3 of the best words in the English language, without a doubt.
Absolutely. I mean, and I'll just describe it for the listeners. We have here the Breville Pie Magic with 2 lovely golden pies inserted in the, would you call it the pie holes? I don't know. We'll move on quickly from that. Surrounded by all sorts of lovely baked goods and fruits. There's some kiwi fruit there, which I don't think you'd ever put in a pie like this, but never mind. We'll gloss over that. Introducing Pie Magic, the new 8-minute snack making miracle by Breville. Pie making has never been so easy with 4 simple steps. Step 1, cut out the pastry cases using the cutters provided. Step 2, line each deep pie dish and spoon in your favourite filling. Step 3, place the pastry lids on top of the pie and close Pie Magic. Number 4, 8 minutes later, open up to reveal 2 perfect crisp golden brown pies. And all this for £29.75. I mean, there you go for perfect pies in your own kitchen in 8 minutes.
I don't really understand. I suppose it's just that it's quicker, isn't it? Because everything else seems like you're just making a pie that you'd put in the oven. But it's just 8 minutes is quick, actually.
Yeah. I mean, I suppose Breville thought, okay, well, we've revolutionised toasted sandwich making. What can we do next? Let's have a look at the pie, you know. But who wouldn't want that in their kitchen? And another thing, just to mention, on the bottom of the opposite page, 305, there's a large yellow banner which does specify all electrical items on these pages are fitted with a plug. Okay, so you haven't got to wire them up yourself. You don't have to get the toolkit out. You don't have to remember which wire goes into which terminal. Argos takes care of it all. On page 308, we have a selection of hostess trolleys. I just wanted to mention that. I don't want to talk about any of them in particular. I just thought it was noteworthy. And then I want to skip along to page 383. I'm sort of staying in the kitchen. It's a executive toy mug. So it's on the same page as, let's see, we've got some lighters here. There's one of those lighters which is in the shape of a pistol, which you probably couldn't get
I saw
anymore.
that in my one, yeah.
Yeah, tankards, hip flasks. There's a mug here, and the mug says ring for service on the side, and there is a bell attached to the top of the handle. I'll just ring in the description here. Ring for service novelty mug. Need a real refill or a top up? Just ring the bell to get attention and the staff should come running. Bell is removable for washing mug. Height 3.5 inches, and that's $4.99. So if you want a little piece of male chauvinistic office gear in your life, then I would highly recommend the ring for service novelty mug. And it is nice to know that you can remove the bell so that you can wash it up at the end of the day.
I can imagine a lot of those bells were removed, never to be reattached across the country. How many of those mugs
removed and then shoved somewhere where the sun doesn't shine.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Goodness me, it can't have been a big seller, can it really?
Sorry, what were you going to say? How many do you think?
I was going to say, how many of those do you think ended up smashed across the country?
Oh, lots. Yeah, plenty. Yeah. Okay, let's go. Let's travel forward a year in time and see if attitudes have changed.
Well, I just wanted to skim over page 101 in the catalogue, where you will find a wall clock with the classic 90s image of a topless hunk cuddling a kitten.
Oh, lovely. How lovely.
Obviously, there were 2 variations of that. It could be the hunk with the baby or the hunk with the kitten. This is the one with the kitten. The hunk with the kitten and a Baywatch clock are straddling a nice Winnie the Pooh scene. So it's a slightly strange mix of topics they're using for their pictures here. It's just above a Thomas the Tank Engine one. So you wouldn't want to mix up your numbers if you were buying that for a 3-year-old's bedroom, would you? But
no, absolutely.
There you go. I thought I had to give a shout out to the topless hunk. If you're listening, topless hunk man, please do get in touch. We'd love to have you on the pod to talk about all the babies and kittens you held. And now I'm going to fast forward to... Actually, you know what? I'm not going to fast forward. I'm staying with the clocks. Well, kind of within the clocks. This is actually into the personal organizer section. So I'm on page 127 of the catalogue now, and it's item 17. It's the Franklin Bookman Holy Bible in small handheld digital form. So according to the description, this combines all the power of a portable electronic Holy Bible with the extra ability to add other ROM books within seconds. So presumably you could add like the Torah or the Quran or all the holy books in one place.
Yeah.
The Pocket Bookman contains a complete text of the Old and the New Testament. The extensive concordance allows a book, chapter, or verse to be entered for relevant passages to be retrieved. It contains Franklin's Spell Blaster spell correction feature. Other special features include a search thesaurus, footnotes, and electronic bookmarkers to let you return to your favourite passages. And it also contains, and this is what I'm most interested in here, it also contains context-sensitive help. Now, what do you think context-sensitive help means in a digital Holy Bible? Do you think that means it's like if you have a question like, oh, what do I do if I'm coveting thy neighbour's new
I think
Ford Sierra or something?
Yeah. I remember getting a copy of the New Testament by the Gideons when I was in year 7. And I think there's a little reference in the back of there, which is like, if you're feeling depressed, read this quote. If you're feeling covetous, feel this quote. So it's probably something like that, I would say.
That makes sense, yeah. It also includes a self-demonstration feature. I'm not sure how that works. It just maybe reads out passages from the Bible for you. And batteries are included, of course, and it's $69.99 to use, Stu. So just take it up to the counter, number 17, catalogue number 671/1434. Get yourself a Holy Bible in handheld digital form.
Bringing the Bible into the 90s. I mean, that actually does. I mean, just sort of joking aside, that does actually sound pretty handy for the for the time, for the era we're talking about. I would say. So if only more books were. If only there was some sort of system where you could have a handheld device which contained hundreds of books. Yeah. And you could download them, and then they would just be on there, and you wouldn't need a paper book ever again. Somebody should really come up with that.
We can but hope.
Well, I think I have just come up with it, haven't I? I mean, it definitely doesn't exist. Okay.
Also, before we go back to, I just wanted to. Well, I also had a note here that there was also the gun-shaped lighter in my catalogue that looks so lifelike. I mean, I don't know how long this could have lasted legally before. Someone got. I mean, you couldn't get away with it in America. Someone would get shot immediately. Just lighting a cigar.
I didn't mention it at the time. There's one in my catalogue that's actually in the shape of a grenade.
Really?
So.
Dear God.
Yeah. What have I sorted out? I've got my timekeeping sorted out. I've got my pies sorted out. So now I want to step into the sporting arena. So I've picked out a couple of things from the sports pages. Page 445. And first of all, before I go into this, whenever, I'm sure you've noticed this in your catalogue, whenever there's some sort of celebrity endorsement involved, that celebrity invariably turns up in a little inset picture of the picture of the item. So, and this is particularly prevalent in the sporting arena. So we've got a snooker kit endorsed by Steve Davis. We've got darts endorsed by John Lowe, etc., etc. Plenty of big names gracing the Argos catalogue. But I had to pick this one out. This is one that's to my own taste, and I would actually have all 4 of these now if I could still get hold of them. I've gone for the Puma Response, the Sondico Pro, the Reusch Cobra, and the Umbro Contra goalkeeper gloves, which are all available. Unfortunately, though, the Umbro Contra are the only ones that are available in adult size.
Yes.
So all the others are junior size, but a great array of early 90s goalkeeping kit there. And great brands as well. And I had gloves by all 4 of these manufacturers when I was growing up. And mostly they came from the Argos catalogue as well. So there you go. I had to give a mention for the goalkeeper's gloves there. Possibly more interesting for our purposes, though, on page 463 is the Gold's Gym Gladiators kit. So this is aimed at the person who actually wants to go on Gladiators, it would appear, rather than the audience for the watch in your catalogue. But this comprises of some neoprene weightlifting gloves with extra heavy padded palm area and Velcro wrist closure. A lightweight and rigid neoprene and nylon 4-inch wide belt with Velcro closure, and also a cotton Gladiators t-shirt. Chest size up to 42-inch approx, suitable for ages 15 to 19 years. And all of that kit is yours for just $19.99.
Not bad. Well, it says it's suitable for ages 15 to 19. But by the time you're 19, you're basically fully grown. So why is it not suitable for anyone over 19?
Yeah, I mean, a chest size up to 42 inches. My chest isn't 42 inches now.
No.
And I'm a lot older than 19.
It's just saying by the time you're 20, you're too old to be wearing a Gladiators t-shirt. I think it's what it's saying.
Give it up, Grandad. You'll never get on the show. And as I was mentioning before, there is a little inset picture of one of the gladiators there, just to demonstrate.
I think that's Hunter.
It's Hunter, is it? Okay, right. I don't know my gladiators apart from Gillingham Legend, as we discussed last time. Okay, what else have you got over there?
Let's move on to the backpacks, because there are some absolute school legends over here. So page 498 across the double page spread here. Some absolute stone cold year 7 classics here. You got the iconic Adidas Predator bag, black and red, with the Predator logo emblazoned across the back of it. Then you've got a couple of quite iconic Just Do It Nike bags, including a purple and green number with a sort of jazzy graffiti style Just Do It written across that one. And I think probably the most oft seen across the playground where I went to school and you went to school, Stu, in year 7 and 8, which is the Umbro design with the sort of, it's got a pocket on the front that sticks out and 2 pockets on the side that stick out. Big Umbro logo embossed on the front pocket, and came in a range of colours. And I would say 40 to 60% of the boys at my school in year 7 and 8 had this bag. And you can buy it in the autumn or winter of 1995 for the price of just $18.99. And I will just read it's called the Umbro Italia backpack. Has full interior access, which you'd kind of hope for with a backpack.
Well, yeah,
you wouldn't want any no-go areas in your own backpack. It's accessed by means of a dual action synchro zip. I think that just means there's 2 zips on it.
Well, this was my rucksack in year 7 and year 8, so I can tell you that it's a zip on either side, which is connected by a thin piece of nylon, and you just pull the piece of nylon and both zips come down. That's what that is.
I think that's so if you ever get yourself locked inside a backpack, you can get out. I think that's a safety feature.
Okay, righto.
Because that sort of thing did happen in year 7. Roomy zipped side pockets, a padded back, and you're not going to believe this, it also comes with shoulder straps. So
superb. It's
well worth the $18.99 that you're going to pay for that. And yeah, I couldn't go past this backpack page without giving those legends of the schoolyard a bit of a shout out. And then we are going to move on to pages 590 and 591, another big double page spread in this catalogue, which is of course the games consoles. Always worth checking out where we've got to with the games console market at this point in time. So this is around Christmas 95. You could get yourself a Master System 2 or a Mega Drive, both Sega. And on the next page you can get yourself, of course, the Super Nintendo or a Game Boy. I didn't realize there was a Master System 2. I just thought there was a Master System. I didn't know there was a sequel. And I was surprised that it was going on this late, because this is obviously 95. So as far as Argos is concerned, this is still pre-PlayStation, because PlayStation was released in 95, I think.
Yeah, maybe that's certainly around that time.
Yeah, unless that was just Japan and it was 96 for us here. But this is a Dark Ages console-wise, because it is pre-PlayStation. But the Master System 2, looking at the picture and the gamepad that came with it, it looks so archaic. I'm amazed that it was still going in 95, especially with the Mega Drive being around as well.
I mean, it was nearly the end of the Mega Drive's life cycle as well. So they must have had just some stock, I suppose.
Yeah, because here the Master System 2 is being retailed for £34.50, whereas the Mega Drive is going for £120. So there is a huge difference there. Yeah. I mean, even the Game Gear, which is for sale here as well, for £64. That's almost twice the price of the Master System 2. So I can imagine there being a few disappointed children on Christmas morning when their parents gave them a Master System 2. And it looks like all of these consoles come with, well, actually, no, maybe just the Sega consoles come with Lion King, which I remember playing around a friend's house, a classic early and mid-90s console game there. But that's where we're at in terms of consoles at this time of the decade, just in case you wanted an update on that. So yeah, that's how the consoles are. What about you? What's back over on your side?
I'm glad we've gone over to the consoles, because this is possibly the most curious thing I found in the whole catalogue. Page 505, and this is the Philips Compact Disc Interactive. I'm going to read you the description here. Okay. Compact Disc Interactive, or CDI for short, is the all-in-one home entertainment system. You no longer have to sit back passively and listen to music or watch TV. Now you are in charge of what you hear and see. Just plug in your CDI player to your existing hi-fi and TV, and suddenly you will enter a whole new world never before experienced. Welcome to the future. Just press a button on your controller and you're instantly drawn into a fascinating interactive world. Philips CDI players are also high-quality compact disc audio players and allow you to play on normal music compact discs, as well as photo CD discs, which give you the ability to view your own photographs on your TV screen. And it advertises itself as coming with 2 games, Mystic Midway and International Tennis Open. Now, this intrigued me because I had never heard of the Philips CDI before. I'd never seen it before. I consider myself a connoisseur of 90s games consoles, and I would have thought this would have popped up in conversation at some point, but it hadn't. And it really intrigued me because it's obviously something that hasn't taken off, otherwise everybody would have had one. And I wanted to find out more. So what I did was I went to my trusty bookshelf and I picked up, this is a book that I pick up quite a lot. This is the Nostalgia Nerds Retro Tech, Computers, Consoles and Games. And this is my Bible. And I had a look in here, and it turns out that, of course, I had read about the Philips CDI before because it's in here. So let me just, I've just marked the page here. Let me give you a quick précis of things here. Bill Gates stated it was a device that got caught in the middle. It was a terrible games machine and it was a terrible PC. Many people didn't see the need for a machine like this. Most stuck to the combination of games console and VCR, leaving the CDI to carry on throughout the 1990s in various iterations before finally being discontinued in 1998. And in the book, there are pictures here with it coming with its own controller and joysticks and things like that. So clearly an attempt by Philips to break into the games market, but also provide something a little bit different maybe, which didn't quite work out. Again, if anybody owned a Philips CDI or has any experience, maybe a friend owned one, please do let us know. I'd love to hear. I'd love to hear about everything else it could do.
Yeah, it's not cheap either, is it? £350. It feels like it's almost like Bill Gates said, it's halfway between two things. I thought it sounded like it was a DVD player before DVD players existed, but maybe it's more focused on games and music. But like you say, it's not. But even if it is sort of games, it's got to be one of the first things that had games on CDs or that sort of medium, isn't it?
I think so, yeah. I've just noticed here as well, if you want the digital video cartridge that comes with it, that's another £150.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so an expensive, a folly, I would say, if you
yes, bought one of those. Exactly, that's exactly what it is.
I'll just finish up my mentions here because I've only got a couple more, so I'll just run through these. Yeah. On page 548, there's a range of CDs, which I think was something that fell out of Argos Catalogues later on. But if you've got your Philips CDI player and you want some tunes to go on it, there's a range of CDs there from the likes of Clapton and the Beatles, etc. And then finally, I had to go and have a look in the toy section. Yes. And I've picked out a couple of board games on page 663. They're both TV tie-ins. You can have the Family Addicts board game, and you can have the Big Break board game, and they both come in at a shade under £13 each. If you want something, if you sorted out your kitchen stuff, you sorted out your home entertainment, and you just want a couple of board games to finish off the shop, I highly recommend those two.
That Big Break game looks already dated here. It's got Jim Davidson with his mullet, and
yeah,
I can't imagine how bad that is. It's the red hot, in inverted commas, the red hot TV quiz game.
I'd love to know. I mean, hang on, I'm just going to make a note of this. I'm already going to go on eBay after the record and see if I can get an Umbro Italia. So maybe I can get a Big Break board game as well. Let's see. And then that'll be the next live play for our summer party next year.
Yeah.
All right.
You're basically putting together a kids' TV prize there, aren't you? That's the sort of thing they'd be given at the end if they'd sort of done well and get your own back.
A rucksack and a board game.
Yeah, a rucksack stuffed with the board games.
And a ring for service mug.
Yeah. and a novelty pistol-shaped that accidentally slipped in because one of the producers didn't realise who he was getting the prizes for.
Oh man.
I'm going to skip. I was going to point out the digital keyboards, the Yamaha keyboards that we used to have at our secondary school, but that's probably of no interest to anyone who isn't an alumni of Corsham School. So we're going to move on to...
Hasn't stopped us before, mate. It has to be said.
No, that's true. That's true. So much of our content is based on...
We've just spent 10 minutes talking about the rucksacks we all used to have.
Yeah, that must have been universal, surely.
I think so. Yeah.
Who knows? Let us know. What was the rucksack at your school anyway? So page 662 here, and this is item number 9, bottom left, and it is called, if I just zoom in, it is called the Famosa Daisy Face-to-Face doll. And it's called Face-to-Face doll because the doll is basically the size of, I would say, and the child in the picture I think is maybe 8 or 9, and the doll is the same size of them, same size as them. It just looks freaky. Anyone who's looking at this picture will know what I mean. The doll has human length limbs, very long limbs, but quite a small torso, and a full head of curly blonde hair. So it looks less like a baby or a child doll and more like an elderly woman. And with the child holding the hands out, sort of splaying the doll around, it looks like a child sort of moving an elderly person against their will. It's a very creepy picture, and it's a very creepy looking doll. According to the description, you can only get it in superstores, by the way. When she is awake, put your feet in her shoes, wrap her arms around your waist, and play and dance with her. What does that mean, when she's awake? It makes it sound like it's got a life of its own. Like,
yeah,
it could just go to sleep on you. But then
Chucky or something.
Yeah. Then it says if she's not awake, just put her over your shoulder and she can go anywhere with you. Now, if I saw coming down the street towards me a child or an adult with this doll slung over their shoulder, I would assume that they would rescued a unconscious child or elderly person from a house fire. It would look so odd. And it's also such a strange description of what you can do with this doll. Just sling it over your shoulder. I'll maybe try and get a screen grab of this and put it on our Instagram because it's freaky. But that's I've just noticed actually the picture. There's another picture next to it of it, I think, being asleep, and one of it awake and one of it asleep, and you get a really good view of its curly blonde perm, which is quite a baffling design choice by the makers of that toy. But anyway, that's $29.99 if you're looking for something for your kids for Christmas.
Get one of those in a Master System and we're sorted.
Yeah. And finally, I'm going to also go to the toy section because it is at the back and you just couldn't not really. On page 687, you will find the Skeletrix, which I did have one of these. I had a micro Skeletrix. I think it's actually the one I've got is for sale here. Has a Ferrari and a Benetton, so it's just Skeletrix but a lot smaller, as the name probably gives away. But it's just quite nice to look at the selection of cars they've chosen for their full size Skeletrix set. So I know this would interest you, Stu. They've got a Super Saloons one here, which I think looks like a Ford Mondeo from around 95, the blue color scheme, the Mark I Mondeo, and also I think that is a BMW 3 Series on there. And then there's a Jaguar Challenge one that has a Jaguar XJ220 versus a Ferrari F40. There's a very nice Porsche Le Mans racer on there. But the most interesting thing is I think they've chosen for their pole position Skeletrix set a Ferrari. Obviously, of course, you'd have a Ferrari F1 Cup, and also a Ferrari. And I'm a big fan of this. They've got a Minardi in there, so it's a Ferrari versus lovely. A Minardi. It looks like a 1990 Minardi to me, so it's quite out of date, but. Yeah, I just really appreciated that instead of going for a McLaren or a Williams or a Benetton, another one of those front of the grid teams from the 90s, they went for our favourite minnows of the 90s. Yeah, it actually made me want to get it. I'm not a massive fan of Skeletrix. It's one of those things that seems exciting. Maybe your friend's got it and you want it, but when you actually sit down to play it, it's just kind of going around in a circle, isn't it? There's no... Let's just say the computer games, I think... paid to the Skeletrix industry, although you can still buy them. I wonder how many they sell every year.
The cynic in me would suggest that it was a lot cheaper for Scalextric to buy the rights to produce a version of a Minardi than any other team. That could have something to do with it. But I do like the romance of the fact that it's the large Italian team versus the small Italian team. So
yeah. I think maybe I remember they just blew all the budget on Ferrari and realised they needed another team as well, and thought, God, who can we get for 20 quid? And then finally, I just wanted to point out that they had I think one very 90s toy and one that I think must have been well on its way out by this point. And that the first one being Connects. Did you ever have any Connects, Stu?
Yes, I was part of a Connects building competition at primary school.
I think I remember you saying this. Yeah,
the regional qualifiers of a Connects building competition. Yeah.
What was it you had to make again?
I can't remember what the brief was, but we made the Millennium Dome and then a load of like construction vehicles and stuff. But we were a bit political with it. We were radical year sixes who were against the construction of the Millennium Dome. So we tried to make some sort of statement with it, and we got as Matt Coe put it on Instagram when we were talking about it the other week, we got dinged for it. And we didn't get put through. So but no, vast experience with Connects. Although I am at heart a Lego man, as you know.
I think the trouble is for Connects, that's true of almost everyone, isn't it? Really, they were trying to get on the coattails of Lego a bit and have their own version, but the fact was it just wasn't as good, and everyone knew it. And it was a bit of a fad for a couple of years in the mid-90s. Connects, and I did look, and you can still buy it in some places, but it's just not really the same. And then the other thing was, by the way, if you want to check out the Connects options they have in this catalog, it's actually only 2 things, I think. That's on page 700. And then if you go forward a little bit to go beyond the Lego section, which is probably my favorite few pages in this whole catalog, but I won't go into huge details. Suffice to say, I want every single item they have on these Lego pages. But if you just go to the end of that sort of the construction toy section, as it were, you get to the Meccano page. And I really think Meccano must have been, even when I was a child in the early 90s and mid 90s, Meccano was something that your parents played with, you know. But there is still a few sets in here, sort of valiantly hanging on. I'm sure it still exists now, but there's something quite melancholy about looking through that section and thinking, you know, how desperate that company must have been to make some sales at Christmas. There you go. It's no Lego, and unfortunately, it never will be. But that's, I think, all I have to say about the toy section and the catalogue as a whole. I mean, there's over 730 pages in this catalogue, so you know, so many items I had to miss out, and I've just noticed some quite interesting looking pages right at the back about delivery and all their commitments and the Argos promise and such like. But
we could go into the deeper the deeper aspects of the business on a later episode. Okay then, so we've explored our respective catalogues, and to finish off, we are going to pick an item to take home with us from our respective catalogues, but it's going to be done randomly. We don't know what we're going to get. We're going to randomly choose a page number from the catalogue, and then we're going to go through and see exactly what it is that we're going to get.
Okay, so we're going to do this by using a random number generator. I've used random.org. I am going to pick for Stu from the Autumn-Winter 1995 catalogue, which I was looking through. And for simplicity, we're going to use the numbers on the viewer rather than the pages on the catalogue themselves. And your number, Stu, is page 260. So I'm going to go to 260 now. Unfortunately, we've gone to the pushchair page here, Stu.
Okay.
Now, can you pick a number between 1 and 9, please?
Okay. I'll go for number 2, please.
Number 2. You are going for the Syndico by McLaren. So you've got a McLaren. You have got a McLaren.
Okay. What else can you ask for?
The McLaren Swan buggy. This is suitable for 6 months and over. It's a sturdy steel chassis, umbrella style folding, a 2-position reclining seat, so you can take it easy in this, Stu.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
A 3-point safety harness because you can never be too careful. A handle height of 99 centimeters, a weight of 5 grams, and you can get that. It would have cost you £39, but I'm giving it to you for free, Stu.
Oh, that's superb. Thank you so much. Does it say anything about can we carry a full-size doll of a 9-year-old child on it?
I don't know if this push is big enough for it.
Okay. Okay, your number, Alex, is page 329. So let's have a little look here. Oh, you have lucked out considerably here. I have to say, you have lucked out considerably. You've only gone and landed on the hi-fi page.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Okay. Can you give me a number between, please, 1 and 5?
4.
4. Okay. Oh, this is superb. You're going away with a Goodman's Delta 800-watt cassette deck.
Oh, nice.
This has a full logic mechanism. It's got Dolby. It's got auto reverse, and it would have been £129. I'm giving it to you for free tonight, and that's got 2 cassette decks as well. Absolutely perfect. This comes as this is as part of a whole stack of Goodman's hi-fi kit. There's also the digital tuner, the amplifier, and the remote control CD player, as well as the turntable. But you're getting the cassette deck tonight for gratis. So there we go. How about that?
I'm absolutely thrilled about that. I cannot thank you enough for getting that for me. It's all paid off.
Well, we hope you enjoyed that run through the 1994 and 95 Argos Superstore winter catalogues. I mean, that was a real trip down memory lane for me. Some wonderful products there, and I'm really happy with the pushchair, mate. So thank you so much.
Oh no, you're welcome. I'm thrilled with my my tape deck. Couldn't be better.
We'll chuck up the links to the respective catalogues in the episode description, so you can take a look yourselves there at home. Please do get in touch with us. Let us know what you would have out of the catalogues. Let us know your Argos memories, triumphant purchases, things that were always out of stock, anything Argos related. In time for our Christmas episode, let us know. We'll be really happy to get those and read them out. And speaking of a Christmas episode, it will be our Christmas episode next time, won't it?
It will, yeah. We've got some ideas. We're not going to reveal exactly what we're going to be doing yet, but we do have some exciting ideas and maybe some guests. We will see. But we're definitely getting in the Christmas spirit for sure.
Absolutely. Really looking forward to that. Just before we go, Alex, I've just encouraged everybody to write in with their Argos memories. So could you give us a reminder of where you can find all of our contact details, please?
Yes, you can find it all in one place on Linktree using All Right 90s Podcast. That's our Linktree name. So that's All Right 90s Podcast, all one word. You'll find us there, but the link will be in the description of the episode, so you can just click on that rather than typing it in.
Excellent. Please do write in on any subject that we've covered on the podcast before. We love hearing from you, so please do keep that correspondence rolling in. Right, okay, we're off to prepare for the Christmas episode then, so until next time, it's goodbye from me. I'm just going to go and fire up the old Breville Pie Magic.
It's goodbye from me. I'm about to go and dig out some cassettes for my new tape deck.
Oh, brilliant.
Cheerio.
Bye for now.